This podcast is brought to you by Media8.
Have you ever seen such chaos?
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the All New Sports Corner. Actually, it's not that new now because I think we're in episode 4.
Jeez.
So we're going well. We're getting better every week. This week, when we intro, it's going to be, oh, shit, it didn't save.
Is that what it's going to be?
Great start. These
What do you mean?
Smokes is
I
late.
saved it upstairs and it hasn't saved down
Brett
here.
can't save.
Save what?
What the thing was.
Or do we want to?
Oh, what is the thing?
Can
you?
Do you want to do a restart?
Oh, hang on. Let me just check my phone.
Jesus. Hopefully no one's. Hopefully those 4 people aren't watching.
Well, it was 4. It's now 2.
We get
3.
started again, hang on.
We're back to 2.
Oh, that's a motherfucker.
And one of them's Brett's account. That
Yeah, the
Watches
three.
Yeah,
live.
the one.
The 15 accounts.
oh,
No,
burn.
that's right. I'm just going to have to fucking remember it, aren't I? What I was trying to do.
Yeah, but what?
It was an
If you
intro. What were we introing?
It was how you going to intro yourself. But it was a fucking cracker.
Surely we're past introing.
No, well, what,
I've said all my good bits.
You
Adam's
did-
probably
you're
got
done.
a couple of stories.
Adam's
what about
'cause
baby's arm holding apples, like
Yeah.
things that are this big?
Ultrasound. What's your favourite ultrasound?
Where's your favourite ultrasound? No, okay, so
I think we should start again.
Nah.
love it. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the All New Sports Corner. Not that new. We're in episode 4. Welcome back, gentlemen. This
Glad to be
week,
back.
as we
Morning.
start, I want to know where the weirdest place you've ever holidayed is and why. So mine's Bulgaria. We went on a ski trip to Bulgaria, me and my wife, and I got stuck on a single chairlift in negative 49 degrees. I thought I was going to die. But it was even worse when we jumped on, what are the snowmobiles? And we're flying at night time on these snowmobiles, and then we're flying around these things, just flying, holding on for dear life. And then the next day we go through the same thing on this truck, and there's this fucking mountain. It must have been like ridiculous down the side. I thought,
Black Run.
yeah, it was just, that wasn't a good idea.
What are the black diamonds
Yeah,
or something?
yeah, that was it. So Bulgaria for me. What about for you?
Holiday.
Oh, hang on.
Yeah.
You can't just say, what about you? Like, how the fuck did you choose Bulgaria? Like, you can't just pass it on and
Yeah.
ask. We've got questions. There was so many questions.
Where were you living at the time? Because
Yeah.
surely you're not flying from Gold Coast to Bulgaria.
Are there direct flights from...
Fair enough. I was living in London at the time, and we wanted to go on a ski trip, and it was really cheap because it was a Eastern Bloc country, and we thought, fuck, why not? We'll go and have a little look. That's the reason we went there. But it was awesome.
It's got to be
How'd-
so
I'm
what
taking
what
time.
airline did you fly there?
A Bulgarian Air, obviously.
What was the in-flight food
What
and
was the movie?
entertainment like?
Yeah, what was the movie?
What were the movies?
It was just vodka shots all the way.
It feels like The Castle, where Eric Banner just keeps asking, what movie?
Yeah,
What movie did you watch?
yeah, that was mine.
No
Bulgaria.
one's going to beat Bulgaria.
I don't go to shit places for holidays. That's the whole
Oh,
point.
righto.
Sorry.
Goes to the
Sorry,
VIP up at the Gabba once.
No.
Turns into a fart sniffer.
I also don't go to
He only goes to the mall.
I don't go overseas. No. I've been to Adelaide. That's pretty much a shithole. But
Bulgaria.
no, the one place that we were in the States on holidays, and we went to Palm Springs. Now, I'm a bit, I'm a bit naive when it comes to a lot of things. And
Really?
I didn't
Never
realise.
picked that.
Yeah, I didn't realise Palm Springs and all the things that go on there. But
What goes on
Just
there?
old people
What goes on?
Yeah.
no, it's a bit of a holiday mecca for.
Swingers.
For
What are we doing
What
here?
is it? What do they do there? Spit it out.
guys that like guys and that kind of stuff.
Homosexuals.
That's it, yeah.
You can say gays.
Yeah, you can.
Nothing
but anyway,
wrong with that.
No, nothing.
But we went there, and I didn't know what was going on because whoa, look at this. But then we went up this bloody gondola up this mountain range, right? And it was 27 degrees. 27 degrees Celsius down there, 0 up the top when we got
How
there.
far was the fucking gondola?
And it just kept going up, and the bloke. And like there's
It's
100 feet drop.
35-mile gondola.
It's like 100 feet up, and this bloke talking in the middle goes, "Oh yes, if you look to your right, it's the San Andreas Fault." And I went, Holy fuck. I said, it's not if this thing fucking blows, it's when it blows. And I'm in a gondola going up a mountain with mountain bloody lions down there.
Is he from Scotland
Because
as
Scottish
well?
as well.
I'm still wondering if we're talking about the guys all together and when they.
Anyway, that was the
So there was a
worst
gay
day.
South African in San Antonio. That's what you're saying.
No, in
In
Palm Springs.
Palm
Springs, that's it.
Near the San Andreas Fault.
Near the San Andreas Fault. So, yeah, that freaked me out. And then I stood on
I
the
thought
edge.
you said you can go anywhere exciting for holidays.
No, I didn't say exciting. I said when I go on a holiday, I don't like go to Bulgaria.
Fair call.
Like
Fair
I go to somewhere that I've done a bit of research and know I'm not going to hate.
So you done a little research about going to Palm Springs?
No, that was a day trip.
He's done all the research.
I wanted to go to San Diego. And Jen goes, no, we're not going to. I've been there before. So off to Palm Springs.
Let's go to the gay mecca of the world with the
Yeah.
San Andreas Fault.
Do you
Yeah,
think,
Liberace lived there. That says a lot. Yeah.
do you think Jen would be happy with you doing her voice like that if she's listening?
There is less chance of her listening than the San Andreas
She's also
Fault.
from Scotland.
Can you?
What about you, Christopher?
Well,
You'd have a heap.
staying on the gay Mecca vibe, I went to Mykonos. And not really that weird, but I went with
4 blokes.
14 blokes.
There you go.
And
Was this the rugby trip?
No. This was just a holiday with a couple of mates.
14.
14 of them.
I was living in Malta at the time, and everyone that had already been to Mykonos goes, "Oh, it's so good. You get off the ferry, and people come to you with hotels, and so don't book anything." And we're like, "Cool, don't book any accommodation." We rock up, and obviously the group of 14, they're like, "Nah, we've got rooms for like 2 and 4. That's it." And it's fucking dodgy. And this bloke's got this pedo van. And it broke down like as he pulled into the thing, like just smoke coming out of this thing. And we went over and talked to him, and he goes, "Oh yeah, got a room for 8. We can take 14." We're like, "Okay,
You just have to stack each other.
yeah,
Heads to tails.
yeah." So we get into this van. It's like I'm thinking we're dead here. Like he's gonna take us off some dirt road and just shoot us all. Anyway, we go down to this harbour, and he gets off and goes to speak to this bloke on a boat, and comes back with like live lobsters and all this. I'm like, "Oh, this could be really good." Get to the place, and it was really, really nice, but get to the rooms, and it's like 8 single beds. That's it. And we're like, well, this sucks.
Head to toe.
But
At least they're not doubles.
It was,
It was like,
Yeah,
there would have been worse 4 doubles.
there was one double bed.
Yeah.
And so we've actually scissor, paper, rocks or whatever. And
Did
then
you win?
You mean scissored?
All got rocks on.
and then just got anything for paper?
Nah, you can wipe your ass with it.
Literally got dressed, got ready, and then went out on a night out, and then
Oh, we don't want to know the rest.
got sideways, and then decided who was sleeping where.
When you got
Like
back.
a lot of people didn't even come back to the room.
Not so bad when you're drunk.
Nah, but
Nothing's as bad.
that was the weird thing, like
So
just turning up to a
Mykonos.
place with no accommodation, which I'll probably never do again.
Yeah, well, that's probably a big call.
Guarantee you won't. After that, you're scarred. It sounds like you're still.
I'm still walking with a limp.
What about you?
Well, I'm not sure if you guys are aware, but I used to play international cricket. And whoever would have me at the
Yeah,
time.
fair call.
But so I didn't really go anywhere on holidays. I was always sort of playing. But I guess one interesting story was when we played the double wicket World Championships, and it was held in St Lucia.
Hang on, what's double wicket world championship?
So you have 2 players from each side. So I think Australia had like the War brothers. The West Indies had like Carl Hooper and Chris Gale. And then, Sri Lanka had Aravinda De Silva and Jayasuriya. So
Who
it
was
was
your teammate?
Andrew Flintoff.
Oh,
So who actually got engaged on that trip. But at this stage, you're probably wondering what's the hell this got to do with weird holidays. But
I'm just enjoying the story.
so we.
I'm just waiting for.
I'm
just counting how
come
many
back up.
names he's dropped.
You asked me who played. You asked me who played in the tournament.
Ding, ding, ding.
No, well, I didn't actually ask that. What I asked was what's double wicket.
Oh, okay.
We haven't got there yet, though.
Yeah, no. So double wicket is you play each. So obviously, me and Freddie, when we bat, they have.
Ready. We're mates.
they have the St Lucian team with the fielding side, and then let's say we're playing the West Indies. Carl Hooper and Chris Gale got to bowl 4 overs each, and we bat. For
Oh, so there's
total
only 2 from each country. Oh, that's clever.
That's pretty clever.
Where does that one person that's non-bowling field?
I don't know, I think he goes off. I can't remember. It was a while ago, but it's a pretty common. It's not like they invented it. I think it had been around for a while.
I've never heard of it.
And they actually had single wicket before. So they have there's a famous thing.
Except for the ones with no mates.
Yeah, in the 80s they had the all rounders.
That's what he's saying.
So they had there was that who's the best all rounder, Hadley, Kapildev, Ian Botham.
Oh, wow.
They did that up in Hong Kong, a single wicket competition. So anyway, double wicket competition, and at this stage you're probably wondering how am I going to tie this into weird
I
places.
know you well enough. Like I reckon.
You reckon I can do it?
I reckon
Yep.
you can do it.
Yeah. So bearing in mind we're two in each team. So basically me and Freddie are wherever we go. I go to breakfast. Freddie goes to breakfast.
He's following you.
Well, no, we're just doing shit together. We haven't got anyone
Yeah,
else.
of course, yeah.
So we're normally in a team of 11, but we're in a team of 2. So we're laying there for a couple of days. We go for a swim by the pool. We're laying there in the sun lounges, and I look up and there's advertising at the top of the thing. It's like Sandals Resort, strictly couples only.
Well, this is the resort you're staying in.
This is the resort we're staying in. And the other people. So there's the War Brothers. There's who else is there? Or like I mentioned all the other guys. So I just had this dawning. I'm like, holy shit, we look like we're gay. So I had to
wrong with that?
Nothing. There's anything wrong with that, but I'm not. So it's like I quickly went and saw the South African boys who really did look that way because they're tall, golden skin, long blonde hair. Alan Donald and Steve Elworthy. I went over and I said, look at the sign. They took them a while to click. So then from there, we all basically congregated to the team, acted like we're on a stag do. So it was very good to try and...
I think it would be more awkward for the War Brothers, to be
Yeah,
fair.
exactly.
that's incest,
Exactly.
isn't it?
Yeah, it's relatively boring. My things come back up now so I can remember what we're talking about. That's
good.
pretty
Good
exciting.
news, good
Big
news.
thanks to our sponsors, Official Beer. One more week, boys, and we'll have one here.
Oh, yeah.
Platinum Standard Grading, Local Card Shop, and Media8 Sports. So this week in sports, massive. And Rob, earlier this week on another podcast, you brought this up, and that was obviously the Pickleball Grand Slam.
Oh, yes. How cool.
Do you know about this, Adam?
No.
One of the biggest sporting events in the history of the world this year so far. The Pickleball
That's a
Grand
huge
Slam.
call.
So as in that's in your opinion, or is that based on viewing figures or...
No.
Based on the athletes.
That's right. We had John McEnroe,
Jeez.
Andre Agassi, Andy Roddick,
Did not.
and Michael Chang.
Did not.
They did.
Where?
In the Pickleball
In the
Grand
Pickleball
Slam.
Grand
No, but
Slam.
where? As in America.
I'm going to
Yeah.
say in Palm Springs,
Ho-
just to tie it all back together.
Hollywood, Florida.
Is that where it was?
Yep, at a casino.
yeah.
Well,
there.
close to Palm Springs.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
is.
just the other side and down the road a bit.
I'd never heard of pickleball until I came and joined Media8 Sports, and then I played the other day, and I was
Well, you
like,
played
kidding?
pickleball.
hell of a game.
Pickleball or pickle?
Did you get stuck in the kitchen? You don't know what that is yet, do you?
No.
No.
Explain it, Rob.
The kitchen is that little bit just near the net. They paint it off, and you're not allowed to go into that area.
Because
I
we only
didn't
know
know
that because John McEnroe
Lived in
got
the-
really upset.
lived in the kitchen.
No, he got upset because he got penalised for going in the kitchen. And everyone
I didn't
said,
know that.
And then
There you
and then the umpire said to him, "You can't go in there." And he goes, "Oh, I didn't know. Didn't read the rules."
Why they
So-
call it the kitchen?
That's no,
Go on, say it.
that's no.
Go on.
Well, it's not suitable.
Well,
Everything else we've said.
that's where. Well, I'll say it because that's where Jen should be, I guess. So
Fuck.
Oh,
anyway,
jeez. You put all your eggs
Hope
in
we
one
tag
basket
Jen
there,
in
mate.
this. Yeah, I know.
yeah, I know.
But yeah, that was a grand slam.
Jen.
And what was $1 million on
$1
the
million
line?
winner take all.
Singles or doubles?
Doubles.
Team.
Jesus, I was pretty
It
good.
was like Davis Cup, actually. They had singles, and then they played the doubles.
What I'll say about pickleball is, okay, in my vast experience of it, having played it once,
Yeah.
it is actually a game that's easy to be good at. I think that's what's good. I reckon that's why it's fast growing.
Yeah.
So you're saying we're a chance?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm saying,
We take
what I'm
it.
saying,
Come on, son.
what I'm saying is, if I went in and attempted to play tennis for the first time, it's actually hard to get the ball back in. But
Yeah.
with this, it seems like
Just
it
whack
just
it.
goes back in, and it seems like really easy to have good rallies. And I
Do you
think
think if the person you're playing against is really good, and I don't know who you played against, it would make a big difference?
my
No, but
11-year-old,
you know when you play,
6 love, 6 love, 6 love.
you know when you play tennis though, and like there's a fair bit of running and stuff. Obviously,
Yeah.
pickleball's a lot more reactive. Do you think if the person on the other side's like a lot more?
Yeah, I'm not for 1 second saying if I played Roger Federer that I would have been,
of course
I would have held my own. But what
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
saying is, I don't think I'm going to be as embarrassed as if I played him on a full court.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
fair
I think
call.
so. I think there's at least an opportunity to get the ball back, I think. Whereas on a normal tennis court or other sports, if I go and play golf, I literally look like every time I play, it's the first time I've ever played it.
So do you think it is a sport that's going to take off?
100%.
Yeah, it's massive now.
And you know what I liken it to? I think the people who've invented it are geniuses, because you look at the way computer games are these days. Like, I go on a computer game, I'm hopeless.
Yeah, me too.
I'm on level 20 after 10 minutes and I'm feeling like a genius because they make it easy to be successful. And I think sports where you can pick it up and go and do it and be okay at it. Like tennis, if you and we're trying to have a rally, we're going to struggle to have a rally. But whereas in the pickleball, me and my son were just sitting there rallying for just before warming up until I decided I was going to beat him.
Because the women's world champion's a 14-year-old girl, and her doubles partner's a mum.
Yep, 7-time,
Yeah.
seven.
And they
crowns.
beat them, what, as in just
As in
amongst
world
women?
champs. Yeah, women, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Or
$5.5
those
million
identify as women.
this year.
How much?
$5.5 million the pickleball world tour is worth over 20 events.
And
What's it look like on telly? Does it come across? Does it?
Oh, yeah, I watched it
it
when we were
was-
in the US, actually.
It was
I liked
crazy good watching these guys, because the first thing they said, the tennis players, they said, well, this is nothing like tennis. We're struggling. We really have to learn how to play this game. So that goes with what you said, that it's vastly different.
I find, like,
But
you
it was
know,
great
the
to watch.
Olympics, when you watch ping pong, right? Because it's the only time you ever watch ping pong is the Olympics. And then they stand, like, way back there and they're whacking it and it's always going. And that's what I liken to watching that. Like, it was just really intriguing.
So for me, I've always been one, I want to go to the Olympics. Not as a spectator. I want the tracksuit, right?
Yeah, fair call.
Oh,
So-
you want to go as a competitor?
I want to go as a competitor. I did offer to be the masseuse for the Dutch.
Pick your jaw up off the floor, smoke.
Yeah.
What sport?
Well, pickleball is apparently
you're there?
Pickleball is coming in 2028.
Yeah.
Mate, it's
Why
easy.
not?
It's not that easy.
But how many people played here in Australia?
Oh, you're number
Heaps.
one.
So the other way that I thought
I'm
of
thinking more you're going to be 72 by then,
oh, shit, don't worry about that.
to be fair.
The other way I thought of getting in was maybe becoming the coach of the Australian European handball team.
A good idea. Do you reckon they call it Australian handball then?
Well, I don't know, but my theory was, right, there's a lot of sports in Australia, cricket is one of them, that you can't become a representative at the Olympics,
Yeah.
right?
What do you mean? What do you mean? Sorry, explain that again.
As a cricketer, can you go to the Olympics?
Yeah,
Is
you
it-
can
Me?
go to in
Yeah.
2028.
Oh, no, you can't.
Okay, Aussie rules,
at the moment.
rugby league.
No, you can't.
So what I want to do is I want to get, because as a host nation, you automatically qualify for every sport.
yeah.
Right? So you don't have to go through the qualifiers. I want to get a team together, Jonathan Brown, Steve Waugh, Andrew Johns, all these guys that can't get to the Olympics any other way. Bring them in. The crowds will be massive, right?
He thought a lot
What
about
sport are
this,
we
I
playing?
think.
European handball.
Yeah, he was on. He did something. He was on the radio. Or there was
Yeah, a few years ago I
campaign.
tried to get Rob to Rio.
Get
Was
Rob
the
to
campaign.
Rio was a
campaign.
thing.
How did it go?
Yeah, poorly.
Well, he didn't-
I actually
he didn't get there.
I had a sponsor.
still
He,
one of
he got to Rabina.
Yeah, I had a sponsor, and they said, "Yeah, we'll get you there. We'll pay for your flights. We'll pay for your accommodation. We just got a small problem. We can't find any accommodation for you, so you have to find your own. Here's your budget."
It's in Brisbane.
No, this was in Rio,
Oh,
This is
okay.
Brazil.
and yeah, I couldn't find any accommodation either. I left
Otherwise,
that
you
one
would
a
have
bit late.
been in the Olympics. And
No,
that was
no,
the thing
I-
that stopped you. I'd be
No,
staying
he
in a
was just going
tent.
to Rio.
I was going to Rio just to go
watch.
there. Yeah,
Just to go to Rio.
but yeah, get Rob to Rio.
You got
Failed.
the- you got
I got
the
the t-shirts.
for no
I still got,
reason.
I'll bring you in a t-shirt, Adam, and I'll sign it for you.
Can you do that?
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
We
What
can have
size?
one on the thing here.
So basically, you did a GoFundMe.
Yeah, technically.
Pretty
But
much.
I wanted to become the masseuse for the Dutch female hockey team. Have you ever seen them?
So
I'll-
you're a creep.
I'll
I
do
can
anything.
imagine.
I'll
Is that
do
'cause
anything
you
to
gotta
get
play
there.
I
on
can
the
only
sticks?
imagine.
Well, no, because I'm Dutch.
Can you break dance?
If that needed to be, I would have been Dutch. I
You,
would've-
you could break down.
Oh yeah, I could break dance. I'd dance.
Lay out
I'd
the
break.
cardboard.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh god.
That's
Because
good-
break
that's
dance
coming
the
in,
next
isn't
one,
it?
isn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway,
That's amazing.
is that coming in as well? Break
Yeah, it
dancing.
is, yeah.
I have to say, like,
Nice.
I went
Funny
to
French
some sort of launch of I think it was some sort of introduction, basically celebration that the Olympics was coming here, and they put up some of the sports.
Opening ceremony.
Not the opening ceremony because it's 2032. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
fair
So
call.
it'd be be a bit early. So, but they
And that wouldn't be you. Being early for something.
so it was they were showing off some of the sports, and then they had breakdancing there.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was like, hell, this is going to be good. And I was like, this is ridiculous. And then I started watching. I was like, well, it's actually entertaining.
Did
So-
you watch that rock climbing, the speed climbing in the
climbing.
last one? They actually had rock climbing. It was speed climbing. So you got to get from the bottom to top and touch the button first, and like it's straight up the wall.
I'd be good at that in reverse.
We're going down.
Yeah, go from the top.
That
to
was
the
really
bottom.
interesting to watch. That's the same sort of stuff as breakdancing. But I think we've got a solution for the Olympic Games. You know, one of the issues with the Olympics is how many people they're allowed in the village, right? So therefore, if you put team sports in, it takes up more beds. Therefore, they've got to have less sports. What if you did double wicket for cricket, and it's just 2 players from every country?
That's true.
And then you have the Australian team out there fielding or whatever. The under
Queensland
12,
side.
the under 12s from Runaway Bay.
Just
out
do it
there
as a
fielding.
lottery.
Or we just do stick cricket. So I know
Even
we're
better.
thinking about esports and cricket as the 2 sports Australia chucks in.
cricket.
But you,
Combine them, and then we can bring in another sport.
I
They've
love
got
Level 4 expert and
but
stick cricket.
real cricketers playing it.
Yeah, and just one person.
well, I love though the double wicket because you got the 3-on-3 basketballs already in.
Yeah.
So
But the thing is, they're only taking 2 beds.
rugby
not 12.
sevens instead. They only play the
Or
sevens.
the other
Oh,
one.
we're going to have to talk to people.
The other one, which is a good one, which is an outstanding tournament, was the 6-a-side tournament in Hong Kong. They used to
Yeah.
have.
Hong Kong Sixers, I remember that.
That used to be
Brilliant.
great TV.
Yeah.
And that's what they want to do this for. I think it's great. We'll have to talk to people.
Yeah,
We'll see what we can do there.
one
See if
Antonio
we-
Samaranch.
Okay, the other big thing this week is it's Masters Week. One of my favourite weeks in golf. And
And it's on Easter weekend.
it is.
How good!
And a massive thing is obviously going to be Live versus PGA. There was a thing in the media today saying that Cameron Smith was actually surprised when he rocked up at Augusta that people were nice to him. Like, I don't understand these
Other
guys.
golfers.
Other golfers,
Well,
yeah.
his
There was,
last
there was no
tourna-
animosity.
His
at
last
all.
tournament, he had people walking on his line.
Yeah, it's
on a-
just fucking
so-
ridiculous.
But
Whereas
that was before the tournament started, wasn't it?
yeah, it was
Or
in the
Live.
warm-ups and stuff.
That was before they'd actually. Yeah, I reckon with a lot of these things, that once it actually happens, it's never quite as bad as it seems. It was like when people first went to the IPL, it was like, oh, you're taking the money, and now it's just become normal. I think.
Well, a mate of mine, Steve McLean, he's a real estate agent now, but he was a pro golfer. He put a thing up on Facebook this morning that he played when Tiger Woods played out here in the Australian PGA, I think it was. But that was the Australian Tour event. So he's asking, his question out there is that, so Tiger came and played in the Australia Tour event and missed 2 US Tour games to do it. What's the difference? They paid him a shit ton of money to come out here to do it. It's the exact same thing. You get guys that go and play on the European Tour or the Asian Tour because there's more money there for them because they're not going to make it on the US Tour. What's the
But
difference?
there's a problem with that. It shows
What's
too
that?
much common sense.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good
I
point.
think also people get stuck with tradition. I mean, and there's a nice thing as well because we like traditions. You want to uphold the history of the sport, but I think people are quick to forget, and a lot of ex-players started having a crack at the new IPL players because they were earning so much money. But what they forget is there was all those rebel tours that they went on.
Yeah,
a lot of them were guys who'd done that, had gone off to South Africa during apartheid. So
The
it's,
Kim Hughes days. Back here.
exactly.
What was that TV show that you made me watch? The golf one, behind the scenes.
I don't know. Full Swing.
Full Swing. That was awesome.
Yeah, it's like a Drive to Survive version of the golf.
But yeah, they showed you all the behind the scenes. And they literally followed 1 or 2 players every episode. But it was everything from their home life all the way through to getting through if they made the cut or they didn't make the cut. And it was during the time that Liv first come around. So it was like, who's going next? And Dusty went. And then with his missus, she's a good sort. Wayne Gretzky's daughter.
Yeah, she is
Anyway,
How old is she?
old.
38.
15.
Cut that
Wayne,
out. Really. Cut that out.
Wayne Gretzky's like 70.
Oh, he's pretty old actually. Yeah.
But yeah, but Dustin Johnson's married to Wayne Gretzky's daughter. Yeah.
I actually, a mate of mine sent through a message yesterday. He goes, you can bet on the colour of Tiger Woods' shirt on the Thursday,
The Thursday.
which is the first day,
Isn't
I
it?
believe.
Surely that's open to some match fixing.
Well, the
Well,
thing
last
is,
day's always
so,
red.
yeah,
Always
like-
wears red on the last day.
so one of my mates who used to be a golfer, I think he worked in golf shops as well. He was saying that everyone that works in golf shops already knows because the Nike reps come around
Tell 'em.
with the catalogue and
yeah.
go, this is
Thursday,
Thursday,
Friday,
Friday,
yeah.
Saturday, Sunday, and then you order according to that. So he's like,
So do we know?
So
Can we
he's
give
like,
it to
a
the
lot of
fans?
people will know.
Tiger could actually
He's going shirtless.
Well, the thing is, they're not going to bet. Like you
Topless.
can't win.
Shirtless.
Yeah.
Topless.
You can't win a lot of money on these things. Like, there's no way they're going to bet you a big.
They're like
a
those
big
I think they do.
$25.
Yeah, Max.
It's a novelty thing.
Yeah.
Like,
If
to
someone
get you in the
goes,
door.
I'm having $1 million on him,
They won't take
they're
it.
going, hang on, this guy knows something.
Absolutely.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So what do you reckon about the whole live PGA thing? Is it going to be an
Oh,
issue
it's
at the
gonna-
Masters?
I
Who
think
wins it?
I think I'm going with Cam Smith this year.
Yeah, I'm with him.
Because he plays that course so well. Dustin Johnson's another one. That's why it's so interesting, because these two live golfers are perennial top 5 finishers in the Masters. They both play Augusta so well. So I'm hoping for one of those two, because I'm all behind live. I think live golf's great.
Just Tiger make the cut?
No.
Adam,
I got
you're
no
such
idea.
a golfing
I said Tiger
expert.
Woods. He's the only one I know.
Does Tiger make the cut?
Yep.
Who wins it?
Oh, don't know.
What's the Irish bloke's name?
Don't know.
Padre
McIlroy.
Carrington.
Rory
That's
McIlroy. That's it.
That's the one.
He got stabbed by his missus. That was funny.
What?
He got what?
How's that not big in news?
Well, that was the story in the day. So he went around for about 6 months wearing long sleeves on the course after he'd never done it. And his missus was at Carolina Wozniacki. And they
Yeah.
split up.
Tennis
And-
player.
Yeah, and the
Yeah.
rumour was that she threw a knife at him.
Got him.
Got him.
Yeah, and that's why he was wearing the long sleeves.
Better than get hit in the back of the head with a golf club like Tiger's missus did.
Well, yeah, I guess.
She
But
went to
yeah,
town,
I
didn't
don't
she?
know if that's true. It was just a story going around. Sorry to Carolina Wozniacki. If it's not
Is
true.
that how you say it, or is it Wozniak?
Wozniacki.
No, there's one. There was
Here in
two.
Australia.
There was two. One had an eye. There wasn't there? There was literally two people.
Was it?
Well, that's
Wozniak
just-
and another no. And another one Wozniacki. It was. Yeah,
Which one was better?
I have no idea.
The one
I
that
was-
stabbed Tiger Woods, that stabbed
Rory
Rory. Yeah.
was better.
Yeah, 15.
Tiger got stabbed as well.
Not
No,
Tiger.
he got hit in the head.
He would have.
He got hit in the back, remember, where she would beat the shit out of him with a golf club out
Didn't
the
he
front
get
of his
hit
house.
by a car?
Yeah, no, then he got hit by... He's just been
By
in
his
a
own car.
accident.
Yeah, he was in a
No,
car.
He
no.
ran
Didn't
into a
he,
tree.
didn't his missus
Yeah, I think
run him down in the car in the driveway or something?
She wasn't happy, was
said-
she?
No, well,
I wonder why.
it was 100 and something women.
Yeah.
I was at the time when that happened. So that news broke that, and I was like, "Oh, Tiger Woods has been in a car accident." And that's how it first came out. And then it was no, he's been
Missus
caught.
ran him
His
over.
missus, yeah. And then it was like 3 women came forward, and my ex-wife was said, "Shit, that's incredible! Like he slept with 3 women." I went, "Nah." She goes, "What do you mean?" I said, "Because he's either slept with none or 180."
Or all of them.
Yeah, I said because when you're an international sportsman, you just get so many
know any?
opportunities. I was always straight, of course, but he just would he would have had women throwing themselves at him. So
How many sportsmen were deleting stuff out of their mobile phones after that happened?
a lot of very worried sportsmen. Bad time for professional sports people.
It's probably a really bad segue into my next question.
This could be anything.
No, it's Jared Hayne.
Oh, no, that is a bad
God,
segue.
that
So
is a
in
terrible
America-
segue.
In America, there's a thing called double jeopardy, right? Which means that
Can't
if
be
you get
tried twice.
if you get done for doing one thing and then you get out or get off, you can never be done again. Obviously, that's not the case in Australia.
Oh, he's going again, is he?
He got done yesterday. So
Is it the same incident or
Guilty?
a different?
same incident.
Oh.
Back in
Yeah,
jail?
Guilty. I don't know if he's been jailed yet.
He's
I
been,
think
he'll
jail
be
comes
sentenced
this week.
tomorrow.
Yeah, so it is found guilty of sexual assault and rape in his 3rd trial. They had to deliberate for a week, and then he's got done.
Yeah,
He's going to go
I've heard
down
that.
again.
So, I think it's really. I think we spoke about this on another podcast. I think it needs to be categorized. He didn't obviously just go and just randomly rape someone. So there's obviously been some messages between them and some insinuation.
You've heard the story, haven't you? Do you know?
Well,
what
I've
the
heard
story
it was
is?
it was aggressive sex and
Yeah, no, but he actually popped in the cab on the way home from they watching
Yeah.
the NRL. He sat next to the mum watching the NRL Grand Final, and then took the young girl into the bedroom, did what they did,
yeah.
was a bit aggressive. Then while the cab was still waiting out the front, he
Yeah.
beeped his horn. And then
She said, "What's going on?" He said, "I've got the cab running." And she said, "Well, that's it. Get out." And
And
he
then-
decided he had to finish things up.
he left.
Yeah.
So
So
I'm
it
not
started
condoning
okay.
any of this. I don't
course
have an
not.
opinion on it. That's all.
No.
But at the same time,
But it's very different to just
How can-
grabbing someone off the
100%.
street and dragging him into
Agree.
a. So to call him a rapist, I think there should be another name. Is my point. I mean, I know this is a sports podcast, but
Well, he's an athlete. Well, the reason I raise it is not because of the fact did he rape her or didn't he? Because obviously he's been done now.
He's been
But now
naughty
in the news this morning, they're saying they're going to should they strip him of his 2 Dally M's? That's the big news today.
We won them.
Well, that's
You
ridiculous.
can't do it. You can't erase history.
Well,
He didn't cheat at rugby league.
Oh, yeah, the news is just so stupid.
That's dumb.
Oh, it is.
The
It's
last
ridiculous.
week they were complaining about an AFL coach didn't want to be on the same plane as his former employer. Like, who cares? It's a non-story. If he gets stripped of his daily M's, that's a non-story.
Yeah.
Like, it's so separated from reality. Like, when did he win them? Like,
Yeah, like 10 years ago.
10 years ago.
No, I agree. Agree.
And he's been
And it
done
was one of the greatest feats in rugby league history.
And where do
that
you
year
draw
when he won it.
where do you draw the line at? Okay, is there a 10-year window that if he does something illegal, you lose? Something that you've
Yeah,
won.
you can't, I don't.
Like you can't just go erasing history and go like because he's not the only one that's done something illegal.
Well,
in
no.
rugby league, especially.
So if Ron Barassi goes and like does something illegal now, they take the 1966.
yeah,
the
where's
premiership
the
off him.
line at like what's bad enough to take something?
Well,
off
I
them?
look
Is
at it from a Melbourne Storm point of view. They got their grand finals taken off because they cheated at rugby league.
Yeah.
Mm.
See,
Yeah.
I think that's
I don't have a
different.
problem with
Where,
that.
and that's what I'm saying.
That's
Whereas
fair,
this has got
yeah.
nothing to do with rugby league.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Joe Watson lost his Brownlow medal, but he was found guilty of
Cheating.
Drug
cheating in the year that he won.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
And-
I agree with that in that case.
but I just think it's ridiculous. As you say, the news is just fucking
Media
stupid.
sucks.
Okay, I got one more for you. I'm going to play this so we can all hear it, hopefully. My technology is going to be amazing. Hang on.
That's the problem with our game, though, mate, because when we get one little incident about a thing, they group in a whole other group of tackles that don't resemble that whatsoever. The 3 hip drop charges on the weekend are farcical. They're not hip drop tackles in the traditional sense. We as footballers can see that, but they'll group them in it, and you won't beat them at the judiciary. They don't know why they're going to let all 3 off, so all 3 will be found guilty if they decide to charge it. So you're wasting.
So this is Phil Gould, right? And Phil Gould is one of, I don't know if you like him or you don't like him, but he's one of the biggest brains in rugby league, okay? So he's there talking about hip drop tackles and all this other stuff. He's come out, and I was just trying to find it, but I can't, talking about concussion now and saying that there's going to be a massive announcement next week about how concussion in rugby league is not real.
Yeah, so I think Phil Gould's got concussion.
Of his own.
But the thing is, so he's come out now. There's this massive thing going around about how Phil Gould's coming out. He goes, there'll be a big announcement next week that all these studies that have been done are all wrong, and that there is no problem within our game.
That's the topic for next week, then, isn't it?
Well, what's the thoughts on concussion? Like, have you watched the Will Smith movie? Well,
Yeah.
that was about the NFL, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and the concussion stuff. And now, obviously, with concussion, you've got 11 days or 13 days that they've got to be out for. How does that affect things? Like, even from a gambling point of view, it must affect things.
Well, there was an interesting case on the week. Viliami Kikau, he got a knock in training, and he plays for the
In the
team
head?
that Gus runs. Yeah, he got a head knock in training, and they sent the video. So the Bulldogs sent the video to the NRL. Independent doctors reviewed it and categorised it as Category 1. So he's out for 11 days.
From the date of
From the date that
injury.
it
Just on the
happened.
video.
Just on the video, and they told the NRL. So, and that sort of sets a weird precedent.
Opposition.
What is
No,
that?
it's for their own team.
Their own team.
Their own team. So you would imagine that the Bulldogs are an outlier here because how many times does that happen in other teams and they don't report it?
Mm.
So they've gone out and are making a stand against, okay, we're about the player. But there's a line because, number one, there's how many other teams in the league that have happened to and just sweep that under the carpet. And then what does that look like if it happens the week before a grand final?
Yeah, well, he's still going to put him out.
He's
for
still
the
going to put it out.
days,
And
yeah.
so they're saying we're all about the athlete, and I agree with that, but it's got to be standard. I
But
think.
how's that, like, from a gambling point of view, if Kikau, he would, whether he plays or doesn't play, would affect because he's such a big player.
Yeah, but
Would affect the price.
yeah, but it depends on who they're playing too. Like if they're playing the Tigers, for example, who are dog shit,
They're going to beat him
they're
regardless.
going to beat
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
So it might move the line, but it's not going to really change it. Like, but it would be if it's a close game and he's a big out. But
But does this open this up to, like, cheating?
what does what open it?
Like
Concussions?
having concussions and, like, these 13 or 11 day...
Not really. I mean,
Maybe they
there will be
get
slight
custody.
advantage.
There's independent doctors that have to adjudicate on it.
So what you're saying is if you get a concussion during training, there'll be some people who won't report it.
Yeah, and some that
Oh.
will. And then at the same time as the independent doctor, they gamble. Just throwing that out there.
So I would
I
think
don't know if they're employed by the NRL, they wouldn't be allowed to gamble.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
I would say that being involved with Queensland and seeing how concerned they are with concussions and lawsuits coming back.
This
So
is
like
the thing.
players get hit in the head.
Is that
like,
the Phil Hughes factor with that? Did that make a big difference to that?
yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So like literally, if someone gets hit in the head in training, like just a glance, as soon as he gets hit in the head, out of the net, go and do concussion
An
like,
assessment.
yeah, assessment. Yeah, and it's like
But with these NRL now, they do the assessment, then they get judged how long they're out for. Is that the way it works, or is it
Yeah,
just
they,
you're out? You're out?
no,
That's
they're
a minimum.
categorised.
Oh, okay.
There's like
Yeah.
a category 1, category 2, category 3, blah, blah, blah.
Is that minimum different time lengths that they're put out for?
Yeah.
But Brett, like, how much of this happening now is on the back of the proposed lawsuits that are coming in from past players?
Oh, it's got to be
So
massive. The
that's-
AFL's huge.
The
at the
AFL's
moment.
the AFL's had a $1 billion lawsuit, and it will fail because there is still that element of you chose to play a game that is a contact sport, but there's one guy who's gone outside that class action because his team told him to go back out, even though they knew he was concussed.
So he's now going.
And he
up
didn't
against
want
the
to?
team.
He didn't want. No, well, not that he didn't want to,
just
but
took
wasn't in the
direct. He
right
took
mind.
wasn't
direction.
right. Yeah, he took direction and did it. So these sporting organisations, the AFL's had I think it's a 12-day rule in the AFL. Any concussion, you're out for 12 days. And that can effectively be two weeks if you're playing on a Sunday and then you've got a Saturday and Friday game. And it's just standard now. And I think it's what they've got to do to protect the sport long term as well.
And it's 30 days in fighting. So
Well, that
I
was going
don't-
to be my next question. So in boxing,
30
obviously
days.
there's pretty much a concussion after every fight.
But most
If you
people
get hit
aren't
there
going to
a fair
fight
bit.
again within 30 days.
most people aren't. No,
Yeah.
but
They will train probably, but
yeah, but they won't spar. Generally, it's 30 days.
But that's interesting in fighting because we're watching a head knock at a training session,
Yeah.
but
Must have been a big head knock.
every second hits a head knock in boxing. So
Yeah,
do the gloves make a difference, or do we just? I don't know. It's just different.
that is interesting because
How does this all end up? Well, I think it's going to be the question. Like you look at that and what happened in the NFL, there was obviously they got new protocols and all that, but that cost them billions of dollars.
Yep.
And Australia doesn't have billions of dollars in these sports. Well, it does, but it's going to cost a lot of money.
Absolutely.
It was a really interesting time in the history of these sort of questions. Was back in the 90s in England, there were two very, very high profile fights. So imagine Danny Green, Mundine, that type.
Yeah.
So there was a guy called Chris Eubank versus Michael Watson, and Michael Watson collapsed after the fight, and hello,
Yeah, gotcha.
and ended up being, I think in a wheelchair for the rest of his life and blind out of
he got
one
brain
eye.
damage.
Yeah. Are you guys hearing me still?
Yeah.
Okay, I can't hear myself. But and then there was another one which was very high profile, was Nigel Benn versus Gerald McClellan. And when that one happened, he's been really left very badly damaged. So then there was a big campaign with all the newspapers in England to ban boxing. So then they did a comparison. Top 50 most dangerous sports. Boxing wasn't in the top 10. Wasn't in the top 10. I think it has something like 5 deaths a year or something like that worldwide.
What was number one? Do you remember?
I'll give you any amount of money that I've got if you can guess it.
well, so I was at a sports tech conference recently.
Oh, no, he knows the answer.
And this
shit, I've got nothing anyway.
I was going to say, we'll get you all of that.
and this came up the whole.
But the top two were
concussion.
miles ahead. So there's two that are at the top, which are
No, though.
I don't know. It'd be different because this one was based on America. So
it'll be the number one in America.
it was like they broke it up by age groups and so girls soccer, for example, there's way more concussions than American football.
Because of the heading the ball. The ball, apparently, that's an incredible. But that's concussions. I'm talking deaths.
Oh, deaths.
Yeah.
Oh no. So I think baseball in terms of concussions was massive.
Baseball.
And it's something you wouldn't even think of. Like it's
Yeah,
and it's batters and pitchers. The pitchers getting hit on the way back.
Yeah. Oh, of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've
What do you-
kind of hijacked the conversation and gone
that's
straight to
okay.
deaths.
Straight to
What's
death.
Gone
number one in deaths?
Rock fishing.
Yeah, I could pick that.
It's tens of thousands of people, but they don't ban rock fishing. Number two,
Tens of thousands of
tens
people.
of thousands. It was something I can't remember the exact
That'd
number.
be globally,
I
obviously.
can't remember the exact number, but I'm going to say 15,000 or something like that.
Jesus.
It was and then second, which was way above third. So there was 1 and 2, and horse riding.
Yep.
So there was like, I think from memory it was like 1,500 or something like that a year. People die horse riding with all the different show jumping, just racing, etc. So and then, but no one talks about banning either of those two things. Yet boxing, I think, was 5. Cricket was 8 or 9, something like that on average.
Yeah.
It's similar when you talk about like when there's a shark attack and people go, "Oh, let's kill,
get rid of all the
sharks," blah blah blah. And then you look at the numbers, and it's like, well, more people die from lightning strikes or dog bites.
Yeah, we can't ban lightning, can you?
Yeah, but you can't. You're not going to bin dogs. Like no one can have a dog.
Yeah, that's true.
Interesting, isn't it?
Rock fishing.
It was like 15,000 something.
Who fishes for rocks? That's what I don't understand.
Oh,
You can hit him with that.
dad joke.
The other big thing this week in boxing, and because that was a good segue, is that the WWE and UFC have merged. Or was that an April Fool's joke? I watched the last night.
No, that's legit.
And I was trying to set like what time and what date did this come out.
$21 billion corporation they are now, yeah.
And they're still trying to think of a name. That was the interview I watched.
WTF, I reckon.
Hey. But that's huge, isn't it?
Amazing.
Yeah. But does it unlegitimize UFC? And what I mean by that is WWE came out many, many years ago saying that they're actually World Wrestling Entertainment and it's all staged, it's all put on, all that, because they used to be UFC, like it was the biggest thing ever and it was real. Does that now like drop that UFC into the same as the entertainment bundle?
I think it does.
What do you reckon?
I don't think so. Like UFC itself they have similar characteristics. Like there are storylines.
Their storylines are the same.
That they go along with.
Yeah.
But at the same time, one's fake and one's real. Like,
yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
What I like,
their arms snapped in the UFC.
Yeah. What I really like about the thing is I'm hoping. I mean, when I say I like about it, I'm hoping they go this route because at the moment with the UFC, I don't know if you've seen like some ex-fighters like Mark Hunt,
Mike's brother,
Francis Ngannou have made a stance for trying to have a fighters union. So to look after fighters after they finish their career financially, and obviously like mentally as well. Stuff, so that a lot of the boxing promoters or fight promoters, they don't have that ability to do that. Whereas in cricket, we've got our own union and they look after ex-players and health, etc., etc. So what I'm hoping this does is when fighters come to the end of their UFC career and they need that money still, or they haven't not set themselves up, they've got an avenue into
like a Brock Lesnar or a Ronda Rousey or that sort of stuff.
You can do something which isn't as dangerous and is a way of earning some money, still capitalising on their fame. I'm hoping it turns out to be a good thing.
Are you going to try and join the WWE?
Mate, I'm not sure there's a spot there for overweight Polynesians.
Well, I'll tell you what, Jimmy,
have you ever seen Yokozuna?
I'm presuming he's fat.
He's a sumo wrestler.
All the old boys are coming back though. Jimmy Superfly Snooker, he'd be older than you, and he was a Polynesian.
I mean, Ric Flair still wrestles.
Yeah.
All right, I'm off.
72.
I'm off then.
They're all coming back because they see the money in it now. They're going, this is a lot more than what I got. So,
but $21 billion.
$21 billion.
Is that? I haven't really seen much about it. So who's buying who, or they're just merging?
They're merging. UFC's pretty much
UFC
bought the
WWE. Yeah.
And it was $21 billion, or that's how much it's worth.
That's how much it's worth.
That's how much it's worth now. But
it's a lot of coin.
What's his name? He runs the WWE, or used to before
Vince
he got in
McMahon.
trouble. So Vince gets to keep his own IP and his own story of his life.
Did you see that the biggest story out of the press conference was Vince's moustache?
Yeah, he looked like a Mexican waiter.
So apparently there was so many tweets about his moustache. It looks ridiculous.
I haven't seen it.
So
horrible.
Vince is 76, I think, 76, 77. And, he got done for touching women inappropriately. And that's why they reckon the sale had to go through.
Oh, he sold, cashed in,
Yeah,
cashed his chips
cashed
in.
What?
Yeah.
So Vince McMahon indecently touched someone and then
Sold his company.
Sold his company to Dana White, who bashed his missus.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
So
How does that make any
But
sense?
it's really funny because they've been showing all the old stuff from the 80s in the wrestling.
Yeah.
When like Trish Straus and all that. And McMahon's in the ring saying, take your top off, take this off. And like they're actually stripping down to their undies and stuff.
They used to have bra and panty fights.
panty matches, yeah, exactly. So couldn't do that shit now.
Whatever happened to European Jelly Wrestling? That was a great show. Sorry. was a great show.
I wonder if the under that umbrella is the slapping.
I
Dana.
don't. They're talking of we're talking about the rugby league concussions. That's outrageous.
Oh, the head slap thing.
That is
Yeah,
outrageous.
that's Dana White's.
UFC own that. Yeah,
It's
outrageous.
I love how when they go, it's on 3, isn't it? You get the third one, and you just sort of crack. And
I like the slow mos, like because your face fully distorts and.
I duck.
But the
1, 2, 3, out.
It's funny because I know boxing, the aim would be to knock someone out, but there's no. You can still beat someone
Defend.
without knocking them out.
Yeah, that's it.
Whereas this thing is, it's hands behind your back
Until you get knocked out.
until you get knocked out.
So is that the way you lose? You just can't swing
I think you
anymore?
can quit. I think I've seen ones where it's like 34 slaps each, and one guy's face is like this, and he just goes, I'm out.
It's like the old schoolyard one. You flinched. You're out.
Yeah.
That's
Remember,
it.
was that game Rocks? Was it where you had the two knuckles?
Knuckles, that's it.
Yeah.
Or slaps. Yeah. So
Wow. Okay, this week in NRL, Christopher, there's been there's a draw, Golden Point draw, the mighty
Yep.
Manly Sea Eagles.
Yeah.
There
was a massive comeback.
It was atrocious. The Johns brothers played each other. That was
Yeah,
a
that
big
was
news
good.
out of that.
Yeah.
There was a couple of golden points.
Yep.
And the people that were supposed to win lost, and the people that were supposed to lose win. What the
Yeah,
fuck's
my
that all
tipping.
about?
I think I got 3 this week in the tipping.
So I thought you would have got all of them because normally you're really
5.
shit at it. And I thought it would have went well because they went the other way.
But I'm leading the AFL one, so
Oh,
how
yeah.
does that make sense?
Blah, blah, blah,
That's
blah.
just makes
So
no sense.
what's going on in league? Does it
Mate,
mean-
it's been really good.
But have they all come more together now? Do you think that the skills have got more even, or some teams are just playing shit house?
Some teams are just playing shit house, and like the Warriors, they've been home.
So you reckon that's made a big
Well,
difference?
Sean Johns came out and said, he goes, I wasn't enjoying my footy last year because a lot of it was they were living over here for big chunks.
Yeah.
Whereas this is their first time. They're in a routine. You can get 4 weeks at home. And it must, like the off-field stuff, must really affect the on-field. I've never been,
Oh, it'd have to,
I've
wouldn't
never been a professional athlete. Adam?
Do you play better at home or away?
I think generally people. I think people.
Go back to Tiger Woods.
I think generally people play better at home, but I have to admit I've always wondered I've never played professional rugby league, surprisingly, but I always wondered with cricket, your pitch is curated to suit your particular style, so there's a direct outcome of that. That there's home advantages, but a football pitch doesn't change. I don't believe in this day and age where sports people have had access to sports psychologists and the noise of the crowd or the comfortableness of the bed can
Make
have
a
such a
difference?
big effect. It does, though. It does. It does, obviously,
Yeah.
clearly, because betting wouldn't be.
Well, with the NRL, like the size of the pitch is standardised to an extent, but like some of them
The
have-
end zone, the try zone.
Yeah, some of them have shorter in goals. Some of them, like, there's no hard limit, but it's like within 8 meters and 11
Yeah,
meters. or
but
whatever. So,
it's
like that can factor in, like especially
kicking
in the UK.
side. Yeah,
So kicking sides can take advantage of that.
yeah.
But rugby league this year is like there's always a shift towards something. Like now, everyone's doing those short dropouts.
What's with that?
And some teams,
Well, I've wondered why they haven't done that. That's just
I just don't understand why they do it.
because you got a chance of getting the
you
ball
just get a
back.
chance to
Yeah,
get
but
the
if
ball
you
back.
don't, they're like 8 meters out.
Well,
It's
they're
hard
only
to-
25 yards back anyway because you
Yeah.
kick at 50, they run 20.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So you're only probably a difference in another 10
10
yards.
meters, yeah.
And I
It's
think,
probably easier to tackle if they're closer
yes,
because you're
Oh,
not.
because
'cause
you
you're
don't
not
have to give
far back.
10.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm amazed that every side doesn't do it.
Yeah, and then the other thing that I think what people are catching on is how you use your
Interchange.
your rotations
Yeah.
in different times of the games. Like a lot of the there's been a lot of injuries as well, so that's one thing. But like some people are coming on. Like there was a guy on, I think with the Warriors. He played for first 20 minutes and then didn't come back on.
Mm.
So there's just been different ways.
Yeah.
Um,
And the Broncos the other day, they've had some really strange. I know they're only playing the Tigers. They're probably just trialing people, but they had some very strange interchanges. Like Selwyn Cobbo off the wing went off for a sit
They'll
down.
play some wingers
I
there
think
for a
just-
rest.
Yeah, I think it was just let's see how people go. It was almost
Yeah.
like a trial game.
Well, whereas
so
Jake
probably a bad
Trbojevic
example.
played like the whole game, both overtimes. Like he actually played ridiculous amount of minutes.
Mm.
It was
Yeah, but the
Interesting,
short
isn't it?
drop-offs thing, is really, really
And-
funny.
And the interesting thing is isn't it funny how sportsmen, things become trends? Because that only came out, I reckon, halfway through last season.
They
I would
started
say.
doing that.
Yeah, and then now pretty much everyone's doing it. Like, it's just almost takes the bravery of it's. I mean, I'm not a rugby expert, but I would say that for me it makes sense to do it. I mean, I look at it tactically. I'm like, well, I would do it, but I mean, I probably wouldn't. I'll be honest enough to say I probably wouldn't do it until someone else did it first.
Yeah.
And then
And there feels like there's a lot more people are happy to get tackled on the last close to the opponent's line
Which makes sense.
instead of kicking it, because you're kicking it, if they catch it in the end goals, it's a 7-tackle set.
And also, too,
you
if you
dead,
kick it every
it's a-
time,
Yep.
then
That's
they're
pretty
waiting
cool.
for a kick.
Yeah.
Whereas, I think
But
it's,
it was interesting in the Manly Newcastle game. There was 32 all, and only one drop goal was done in Golden Point. So I think it was Cherry Evans on 3 occasions could have actually kicked a drop goal from 35 metres, which is what he does. Never, he actually kicked to the sideline. So it was like, and they're saying because if he missed, it's 7 tackles coming back, so there was more chance of them to actually score.
Yeah.
So it's
And
a lot more
especially late in
strategy,
the
isn't
game
it?
when everyone's gassed.
Yeah.
but you miss
7
100%
tackles.
of the shots you don't take.
I'm with you. 100%.
Thanks, Michael Jordan.
Thanks, Ted Lasso. So then last one, I got 5 from 8, which dropped me down a spot on the local card shop NRL comp. I'm now 17th.
I got 5 from 8 and went up a spot to 30th.
So what are you,
From
30th now?
Yep.
And then, that's not good. But let's have a look at this week's NRL. We got Melbourne versus Sydney Roosters in Melbourne. Christopher?
I'll take Melbourne.
I'm on Melbourne at home because Munster's back, isn't he? When's Pappy come back? Do we know?
No, I don't think anyone knows.
Even Pappy. What do you got?
I got Melbourne.
I'm going Roosters, of course.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, because I've got no idea.
The Dogs versus the Rabbits at Accor Stadium. Makes a big difference.
Rabbits.
Yeah, the Rabbits at $1.28. Have to take that. What do you reckon, boys?
Got Rabbits.
Rabbits.
North Queensland versus the Dolphins. See, I got disappointed and
good
let
game.
down this week because of the North Queensland Cowboys. They're in North Queensland. Fins up again, baby. The Finjuries are over, I reckon.
Oh, really?
If injuries are not over,
That's a hard one to pick, that, because we talk about home advantage and
Massive home advantage in North Queensland.
yeah. So that is one place
But
I do understand the home advantage.
But the thing is,
'Cause
you've
they're all
got a
fair
couple of
The heat.
ex. You've got a couple of ex North Queenslanders playing for the Finns.
I'm pretty sure the Dolphins have been up to North Queensland as well as part of their.
Oh,
They-
they
as part of
did.
their
Yeah, I think
season
they
trial.
well, that's
It
where
was
they
a draw,
played that
wasn't it?
game that Wayne didn't turn up to.
Oh,
I
yeah.
know.
But there's no chance they
So you
win.
got
No, I've got Cowboys.
Cowboys. I got the Finns.
Cowboys.
No, I got the Cowboys there.
Penrith against Man. Obviously the mighty
The
Man.
other thing
Easiest one to
I'd
tip.
say about the Finns is they've had a couple of losses in a row now, and
There's lots of Finjuries.
is there. And
Yeah.
also, like, I always feel like momentum they had that early, that riding that wave, So
The adrenaline's gone.
yeah, they've lost 2 games. It's like, hey, what? This is reality.
This will
now.
be where Wayne earns his money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
And he's good
2
at it.
halfbacks are out, long term or longish term. Who do they bring in? I haven't even seen the teams. I know they came out yesterday, but I haven't seen them.
Yeah.
They're still,
Because
they're still trying to recruit.
are they?
No.
They're recruiting a couple. They put an ad on Seek
Did
for a
they?
halfback.
Hopefully they got better applications than we
Yeah,
did.
true, but we got some.
Penrith Manly at Penrith.
Penrith
Did you hear that?
by 100.
Because
By 100.
Easiest one to tip.
because the Libs lost the election in New South Wales, the first thing that come off the table was Penrith's new stadium. So they're not building it now. Labor government just said, no, fuck you, we're not building your stadium.
Which I would
Because
assume,
Labor won the
I would have
seat.
thought the
I
other
would
way around.
assume Penrith was Labor.
No,
No,
but
it
see,
wasn't before.
Yeah.
Now it is.
yeah, that's the thing. Yeah,
So they've lost their stadium. So they're going to be
they
playing.
only spend money in marginal
300
seats.
million they thought to redevelop it, and it wasn't going to grow in size that much. It was just a replacement almost.
Fake
Bad
grass.
luck.
Doesn't grow. Brisbane, Canberra. Do you reckon Brisbane can go, what's
Brisbane.
that, 6 in a row?
Yeah.
Yep, they'll win.
Canberra got flogged on the weekend.
They did. They got
Canberra poo.
massacred. I reckon this will be Titans' best chance ever to win a game.
Well, they've already won 2.
Yeah, I know, but against
They're
the
in the 8,
Dragons,
aren't
they are. No, but at home, the Dragons. How many you get? Fuck yourself.
I've tipped Dragons. I don't know why.
Oh,
I just hate the Titans.
What do you got?
I'll go Titans there.
You're going to beat the game, aren't you?
No, I'm going up to the other one. I'm going up to the Broncos.
Mm.
But I got the one next week. I got the tickets for the boys.
Titans Brisbane.
Yeah, that's going to be
Who is it? Titans.
Titans and Broncos.
I haven't been to a
nice.
game this year.
Pardon?
I haven't been to a game this
Yeah,
year.
either. Newcastle, New Zealand at Newcastle. New Zealand
New
are the
Zealand.
favourites.
Yeah.
By a long way. They're second on the ladder.
Yeah, but I see Newcastle played well against Manly.
Yeah.
I'm going to pick Newcastle.
Wow.
New Zealand will lose that.
Concussion
I'm picking
test.
New Zealand.
Yeah, New Zealand.
And then the mighty West Tigers. Fuck.
They
mate.
were awful.
Mate, they are awful.
You know what?
I reckon Benji should put number 7
Oh,
back on and play.
I'm going to bring this point up, and I've said this for a long time. Fucking relegate them.
Oh,
They're a waste of
Relegate.
time.
wow.
I don't know if any.
Relegate the Tigers.
Oh, I don't know if you guys have seen it.
I don't like picking Para, but I'm going to have to.
Relegate them.
Relegate them. They're fucking legless. So they've done a jersey for Anzac Day, and they've used American soldiers as the photos.
Okay,
just
and then
ticked over an hour.
obviously Meatball versus Chicken Classic at Subway.
Hang on.
Classic.
I had a chicken classic the other
isn't that
day.
Cookies.
Yeah, no, it says Meatball versus Chicken Classic and Choc Chip and White versus White Choc Chip.
Meatball.
Chicken classic.
I'm Meatball and White Macadamia Nut.
Oh, yeah.
I'm chicken and white macadamia nut.
Me too.
Meatball and white macadamia, right?
Yeah, White Macadamia Nut wins. And then your boys will win this week because they've got the bye.
Why not get the Tuesday?
They get two.
I got a Big Mac from the last week. The Broncos were up there. Tigers, if they win by more than 20, they have this thing where it was like Big Mac. So I took my 2 boys and I took a fighter up to fight up there in Brisbane. So I bought him a ticket to come and watch the Broncos as well. So 4 Big Macs.
Awesome.
Love
Did you eat them
that
all?
shit.
I haven't had one yet, but
It's only valid
Hey,
for
last
one day.
one day.
Oh, my God. This is this is
You
bad.
idiot.
it's devastating.
My boys end up getting 13 of them because
just
they
kept
just kept
going through
driving
the-
back
yeah.
through and showing their ticket. And just,
I didn't take the ticket off them. They kept
no,
it.
they kept showing their
Geniuses.
thing. Oh, mate.
Geniuses.
I went to an NBL 1 game on the weekend, and in the NBL,
Who'd you see?
the
Media8 Sports Seahawks?
Media8 Sports Seahawks versus Northside Wizards.
Yep.
Down at the Nest in Runaway Bay, and in the NBL to get
down there.
get the opponents to miss, they yell "Hungry Jacks," and if they miss 2 free throws in a row, everyone gets a free cheeseburger from Hungry Jacks. The commentator, the court announcer, was saying that, if you want to win an imaginary hamburger, say Hungry Jack. So the crowd got up and about and was saying it, and this bloke missed 2. He's like, yeah, free imaginary hamburgers. And then, in the second half, he started doing it again. For your second free imaginary hamburger. And then everyone was like, well, not doing it. Because
Yeah, you're not giving.
it's
Yeah.
imaginary. So I went and spoke to the boss at North Seahawks, and I'm like, where's my imaginary free cheeseburger? I want it. And he goes, well, actually, one of the sponsors owns, I forget the name of the company.
Hungry
too.
Jacks.
No, so something Paddy's.
Oh, Paddy Smith's burgers or something. Is it that one?
No, I'll look it up.
Anyway,
But he's doing a promo.
because that's what we said last week. I think it's a great idea if you could do that
Amazing.
because everyone's all over it. They've got a miss. So I'm thinking when we open the yard in a couple of weeks down at Mermaid,
Be hard to yell.
2389 Gold Coast Highway, we give away a beer.
It's a bit hard to yell out. Official 2032.
Official beer. But speaking of
Chatty's
NBL1,
Paddy's in Mollendina.
Chatty's
go.
Paddies.
Chatty's Paddy's. Oh, that's a cool name too. But they're doing something for kids.
That was a
think it's a great
unsponsored
idea.
plug. We must send them an invoice.
Absolutely.
Chatties.
Yeah, you could yell that.
You could do that.
Absolutely.
I like that. So we went on the Sunday.
Yeah,
I
that's the
went
Sunday.
the Saturday.
I went on Saturday
With
night
Saturday
too.
night too. Yeah, and we went and watched the mighty Ipswich Force versus the Gold Coast Rollers. We were there on behalf of the Rollers in our box.
Well, we were. Nikita came
the kid came in a Ipswich jersey. And we,
DMT.
were,
to the Gold Coast Rollers box.
and we were sat next to the Ipswich Force box. I was sat next to Brady Walmsley, and the Rollers went out by 16, I think, at the
I think
start. They were flying. So I've gone to Brady and gone, are we on? And he goes, yeah, go on then. So I bet him a bottle of Jack versus a bottle of Dom, and the Ipswich Force won by 20. So-
Bye bye bottle of Jack.
yeah, so I had to go yesterday and buy a bottle
It was
of
1-1.
Jack,
You should
so-
complain. You should, because the women, the Gold Coast Rollers,
Beat the
won,
women.
and
Yeah,
then-
it was
so
just,
1-1.
No, because
Mate.
I tried to bet him in the
Going on a
Oh,
technicality.
absolutely.
He'll be trying to compete in the women's basketball next, mate.
Yeah, but back in
Jesus.
2015, we won. We won a game in 2015. You owe me a bottle.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Just could do
You
that.
could just keep going, couldn't you?
Well, I actually
He
tried
has
to
coughed
do it.
up his bottle of Jack, though.
I
so-
did. I got my bottle of
it's
Jack.
I was going to say,
It's still-
or you could just cough up your bottle.
Yeah, he has done that.
I did that. I
Brett
went and bought a
doesn't
good one. Yeah, and I actually put on the bottom, Media8 Sports always.
Is that
plays
that
their
nice
gambling
bottle
bets.
that's in there?
Oh, it's only half a bottle now.
Yeah.
That's a nice bottle.
That's good, isn't it?
That's not like you just because
No,
if
that's
I
a
lose a
single-
bet and
this
I've
is
got
a
to get a
single
Jack
barrel.
Daniels, they're just getting the bulk standard one that you buy at the pub.
Yeah, no.
That was like a
single barrel.
yeah, look good.
What's a majiggy?
That almost went missing yesterday.
Yeah, I'm sure it did. I'll get out
And
there.
it may
There'll be
get
an empty
missing
bottle.
this afternoon.
AFL news. I've moved up the ladder in the local card shop tipping competition to sit at third. I went up 3 spots this week because I got a mighty 5 from 9.
How many people in it?
3. No, there's
27.
27.
Are you going all right?
So I'm sitting at third, but Christopher is sitting first, ain't you?
Number 1.
Number
I'm
first.
1.
And I'm second.
No, you're not.
22nd.
So I got 5 from 9. How'd you go? If you're sitting at the top.
5.
I had
How'd you go?
4.
4.
What does anyone know what the number in the brackets means?
Yeah, the difference
That's your
in for
points.
and against.
So I was 14 points out.
No,
From,
you are now.
Yeah, that's cumulative.
okay.
Cumulative. So I always put it at 1. So you know when you get to pick the first one. you can then
Because
pick-
one bloke's in single figures.
Yeah, so he's getting close.
That means he's a genius. It must be
There's
me.
a couple in single
Okay,
figures.
Brisbane Lions, Collingwood.
Lions by a mile.
Collingwood by
Collingwood,
20.
they look really good.
They
You guys
do.
look really bad.
They look really good, but they got no ruckman this week.
And have
Zero.
you got a ruckman?
We got 8. We could use as
Any
many
of them
as we
any
want.
good
Yeah,
though?
you guys have Joe Watson.
No.
No, we don't. We have the other one, the other dud from us.
Oh, yeah, that's right. What's his
Not
name?
Joe Watson. No, Brisbane.
What's that other
I'm
squad?
Collingwood. Who
Backs
you got?
against the wall.
Brisbane or Collingwood?
All right, Collingwood.
Yeah.
Is it in, where is it?
Brisbane.
Ooh.
Are you sitting in VIP seats?
Yeah, of course I am.
Jeez.
Of course he is. Of course he is.
Are we going to get an invite? Or?
Yeah, no, I
he's
haven't heard
Negative Ghost Rider.
Negative. North Melbourne versus Carlton.
Carlton.
Don't even think about it.
Carlton are sitting third.
Yeah,
North Melbourne sitting 7th.
North Melbourne have lost all their defenders. Dead set serious. They got no one.
Dead
The-
set serious.
The here's one for you. There's a conspiracy theory. There's the Mackay twins. One plays for Carlton, one plays for North Melbourne. 6 years into their careers, still haven't played against each other, and
So what's the conspiracy theory?
that there's only one of them.
Oh, they've never been seen in the same room.
Wow.
So
Fuck, he must be knackered on
Yeah, I tell you what.
morning.
He must have a lot of frequent flyers.
the North Melbourne one is injured.
Must be
so
a
won't
bitch when
playing.
he's playing in Adelaide, then has to go to Perth.
It's
Highest-
hilarious though,
Highest paid player in the AFL.
because one of them's a forward and one of them's a defender, so they would play on each other, but it's still yet to happen.
Okay. Adelaide, Fremantle. I'm going
Shitfish.
to Adelaide.
I'm going the shitfish.
Yeah.
Richmond, Western Bulldogs.
Your tips don't count, Adam.
They do.
I'm not in it.
Richmond.
Richmond.
Yeah, Richmond.
Richmond.
The Saints versus Adams Gold Coast Footy Club.
Oh, highlight of the week.
I reckon Gold Coast. are
I've
gonna
gone
knock
for the
them
Gold
off.
Coast,
Mm.
but that was a highlight of last week.
Oh, was how good was that? When
That was
they beat Geelong?
fantastic. So who would have thought that last year's Premier would be the last team to win a game in 2023?
And 1946, 52. What number?
77, 46 years ago.
46
You were
years
on the
ago.
right track.
I was close.
Yeah.
Was the last time that happened,
Yeah,
which was North Melbourne.
North Melbourne.
There you go. Sydney versus Port. Sydney by 100.
Yep.
Yeah. Or not 100, but
Yeah, I'll go
Essendon
100.
versus Greater Western. Essendon are going all right.
I've gone on the.
I'll
gone
go
on
the Bombers.
I'll go the Bombers.
West Coast versus Melbourne.
Melbourne by 100.
Melbourne.
Yeah, West Coast had about 13 injuries last week.
They did, didn't they?
Yeah, they were struggling, poor buggers.
Geelong versus the Hawks.
Gee, long.
You reckon they're going to bounce back?
100%.
That's actually
I
against
think
Hawthorn.
this is the
Hawthorn
one.
Hawthorn
they
at
have to-
$5.
They have to
Hey,
win.
can we 1 inch?
Sprite versus Coke Zero Sugar.
Coke Zero.
Sprite.
Got a question for you though, Brett,
Yeah, mate.
on
The
Aussie
mighty
Rules, because it's
Sydney
the
Swans,
Swans.
the
It's a
Gold
Swans related question.
Yeah.
That Buddy Franklin,
Yeah.
the talk is that just he's not up to it anymore.
Well, I honestly believe he should be, and I'm a massive Sydney Swans fan, a massive Buddy fan. Wish he had played for Gold Coast this year. So I think he should have come up and finished his career on the Gold Coast because he's moved here, he lives here, his family here now, and I think he would have been able to help the Gold Coast Footy Club with their forwards. However, saying that, our new full forward, the young bloke,
Logan.
is an absolute cracker, and I believe that Buddy's one-on-one coaching him.
Yep.
So from that point of view, I'm glad he stayed in Sydney and fuck Gold Coast.
Yeah, but
Football
I mean, do you drop him though? Is he droppable?
No.
No, didn't think so.
I don't reckon.
No, I don't.
He might
think
not
so.
play as many minutes, or put him in the pocket next to Logan. That's my opinion, but yeah, I don't know. What do you think?
You
can't drop him.
You can't drop him.
Or put him in centre half forward.
Yeah, I just don't think fitness-wise he's got that in him anymore.
Still wouldn't like him running at me to try and tackle me.
Oh, hell no, because he uses his elbows.
Yeah, and he's a great.
A team still.
Well, yeah, they get number one defender goes to
Yeah.
Buddy. So that's the good side of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
So-
can take him out of the
And
game.
you can't
can
leave.
just go
You
and stand
can't
in the
leave him
box.
with no one.
You can't
Nah.
because he'll lead up and take marks and kick goals.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, interesting.
But saying that,
it's
he
a big
also,
story in the AFL at the moment.
against the Gold Coast, when we watched him play in round one, he had a cracker. Those first two quarters, he played really well, and it was like, shit, Buddy's back. But at the same time, as long as he stays injury-free, I reckon
I think he
we're a
Can't you
chance.
just bend the rules with the interchange player?
What, the sub?
Yeah, or the sub.
well, you could
You
have
could
him
just
on
sub
for
him
half a
in.
game.
Yeah.
I think he breaks the record this week if he kicks 2 goals.
Yeah, that's 500 for 2 different teams. Is that
No,
the
no,
one?
the for multiple goals in a game.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because if you have a look at the blokes like Lockett and Plugger and all those guys,
Lockett and Plugger.
Lockett and Dunstall, they kick 10 goals in a game,
Yeah,
which Buddy
yeah.
doesn't do very often. So Buddy has got a lot of 3 and 4 goal games.
Yep.
So and has obviously played over 3
Speaking of
games.
Plugger, he was in the news.
Yeah,
He's a bit of a recluse. Doesn't come out much.
very much so.
He looks so different. He's
Who?
he does like
He's lost
ultra
30.
marathon.
No, he's lost 30 kilos, because Jen saw him and said, "How
Mm.
did he lose all his weight?"
Mm.
And then she decided that I was going to go on the same diet, and it's the no eating diet.
Yeah.
That's what he says. He goes,
Wow.
"I just don't eat," but he's lost 30 kilos.
He does
This
like
Plugger.
marathons or something crazy.
Yeah, he does running.
Yeah.
Just runs.
Okay, we've been wrapped up.
We have been wrapped up.
But just on that, with Buddy, he's also, I think, only 11 goals away from kicking 500 for 2 different clubs.
Did
Which-
Plugger do that?
No one ever done that. This is the first
How
ever.
many did Plugger kick for Sydney? Did he kick more at Sydney or St Kilda?
More at Sydney. I think he kicked 680 or something like that at Sydney. So I made that up, but it's around those sort of numbers.
Sounds
So-
good anyway.
Anyway,
because
boys.
if he kicked 680 at Sydney, he's probably kicked 500 at Saints. Because didn't
Yeah,
he kick
true.
1300?
quick, maybe.
Quick
Maybe
maths.
I got that quick math.
Quick maths.
On that note, thanks, gentlemen. It's been a pleasure as always.
Goodbye.
Mr. Hollyoak, thanks for
you,
joining
sir.
us.
Thank you.
Rob,
Thanks for having me.
always a pleasure. That was Chris's special little sound.
Chris is
I was
special.
trying to do this one.
Thanks, boys. There you go. Cheers, boys.
See ya.